Hey guys, how y'all doing? Just wanted to hop on and share my thoughts as I like to do, and I appreciate you for being here. But I'm titling this "The Purpose Driven Wife," but it's really about men being or properly prioritizing fulfilling a purpose and having a woman in their life. Now, I'm not gonna sit here in front like, hey, it feels great to have a woman in your life, man. It feels great to have that companionship, to have that female touch in your life. If for anything, the softness, the affection, and to fulfill those manly, let's be real, to fulfill those manly urges and needs and stuff like that. However, I think most uh misprioritize their purpose and having a woman in their life. I think oftentimes they get swapped. Um my my hypothesis, my theory, if you want to call it, my thesis, if I was up for a doctoral program, would be the kind of woman you want is already where you're trying to be. As in, be on the path for your purpose, and that woman will gravitate to you, or you'll find her along the way. I've never, and well, I won't say never because somebody throwing an example, but it's not often you hear a man losing out on a great relationship because of his purpose. Now, more often than not, you will hear about a man being thrown off his purpose because of a woman. So, as long as you're on your purpose, it's kind of like one of those things where, as a man of faith, I try to adhere to the tenets of my faith as best I can. Not perfect, by no means. But it's kind of like one of those things where as long as you align yourself in God's will, everything else kind of takes care of itself. Things just kind of fall in place for you simply because you're following God's will. And it's the same thought idea that if you're on your purpose, the woman for you, the woman that you have in mind will fall into, she will materialize. That's why I say the kind of woman you want is already where you're trying to go. However, when you're at a point where you should be, have the blinders on, or developing or plotting out your vision, trying to discover your purpose, but you keep letting this woman pull you over here, that woman pull you over there. It's pulling you off your purpose further and further. You still know what you want to do. You still know what you may be even called to do, but you keep allowing yourself to be distracted. And years go by, and you still have that, feeling like I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm supposed to be doing that, I should be doing this, or you're wondering why things aren't coming together for you to fulfill that goal that you've laid out. And sometimes you got to take inventory of what's your circumstances. Instead of spending time on this, what are you spending time on? And for a lot of men's story is chasing women. We have to properly prioritize the chasing women part, man. Like, let's not front. Even though you got a whole segment of social media and YouTube that sound like they hate women, but let's not front. And all that hatred, they want a woman. Let's not front. The issue is either when they're early in their process, they're overreaching for the kind of woman they want and they haven't qualified for it yet. Or they allow the woman to take them off their purpose or to distract them from their purpose, and it ruined their lives. It held them back. It was a stumbling block. Things happened that ultimately prevented them from fulfilling their purpose. So let's not be real. You want a woman, it's just about, is that your prime MO? Your primary objective to get a woman, or is your primary objective to fulfill your purpose? It's this movie with Chris Rock called I Think I Love My Wife. And just a quick synopsis. This shouldn't be a spoiler because the movie is literally like 15 years old. But he's a married guy, he's living a married life and all this kind of stuff. And it's not really even about, what his circumstance was. But there was a line in the movie that one of his employers said to him, because he's pretty much a straight-laced guy, and then there was an outside woman who kind of started to take his eye off the ball. He started taking his eye off the ball for her. He's getting caught up in her stuff and her drama and that non-conventional life that she lived. So his boss was noticing a dip in his performance, a dip in his otherwise reliability. And so they were at a conference table, like a big conference table. I think it was a financial firm they worked at. But anyway, they was at a big conference table. And he sat at one end of the table, and his boss was standing up as they was talking or whatever, reviewing his concerning performance as of late. And he pulled out a quarter. He put the quarter on the table and said, here's you. Here, you're the quarter. He put the quarter on the table, said, the table is the company. The size of this quarter is your value to the company. Basically saying, if you don't straighten up, we will let you go, and we won't miss a beat, essentially. But in this guy's infinite wisdom, knowing the guy, and so it had to be something to do with a woman. It was kind of like one of those unsaid things. But he was like, you'll never lose women chasing money, but you'll lose a lot of money chasing women. And that's kind of applies to the whole purpose thing. When you're on your purpose, women will fall out of the sky. It's ample women around, man. Homeless people have women. Bums get women. We see them impregnate them all the time. Bums get women. So when you're starting out or on your path of building yourself up, never feel like you're missing out on a woman, because there's plenty of women. But there's only few opportunities to fulfill that purpose. You'll never run out of opportunities if you try. You'll never run out of opportunities to encounter a woman, to entertain a woman, but you will run out of opportunities to fulfill your purpose. That's the more scarce resource. You can be in any position in life and have some woman around. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, the chasten yourself or to be absent. Men are men at the end of the day. Men have their desires at the end of the day, and killing that flesh is a struggle at times, so that's not to say that you're expected never to entertain or never to to have anybody around in your orbit. However, don't lose sight of your purpose while doing that, to where you're driven up, you're pulled from your purpose, and then you ultimately miss out on the kind of woman you want anyway, because you're still you remain stuck kind of at the starting line, and that woman you still want, it still seems like she out of reach, or you still don't qualify for her. Um, and also it reduces the chance of, say you get with somebody early on in in your path. She's meeting you where you are at that time. You still have the mind or the goals to grow and progress and reach these different levels. Well, this woman back here who you could pull back here, chances are she probably don't have the mind to handle the end goal of where you're trying to go. I use, for example, as a black man, of the 80s and grew up in the 90s. It's, I had a stereotypical black kid childhood. Parents didn't have a lot of money, lower middle class to middle class or whatever. So it's not like I was in big circles or whatever. So even starting out in life, I didn't have a lot of money. I had an old dusty car, working these different jobs, especially when I was in college. But the type of women I entertained back then, outside the girls that caught, now I guess I was a little different because I went to college, so you have more forward thinking women there. But let's just take college out the equation. Most of the women I would have encountered back then, or probably had a shot at back then, were more local worldview, localized mindset, the neighborhood stuff. The type of stuff I was interested in, being a corporate guy, or getting into politics, or just bigger arenas, was a foreign world to them, and they couldn't wrap their mind around it. And just a simple conversation, when you express things you want to do with your life, and their reaction to it, you can read that, if they have if they can even wrap their mind about it, because they never thought about even possibility of having that kind of life, so they can't even wrap their mind around it. So if I would have, let's say I fell in love with somebody, nose wide open, as they say, and I fell in love with somebody, we got married back then or whatever, as I try to progress and leave that circle or leave that bubble, it probably would have been eternal strife, because her expectations of me would be on a more simplified level, and probably wouldn't understand the demands of the world I was striving to get into. So it probably would be just undue strife, and stress, I guess you could say, because this isn't the type of woman that would be on that purpose, on that path, on that would be on the path of that purpose. But you wait a little longer, you keep building yourself up and progress, a whole new world, caliber of women open up to you, and you meet women whose mind is already affixed to that level you're striving for. Not everyone can be a doctor's wife. Not everyone can be a politician's wife. Not everyone can be a high-ranking corporate official. Not everybody wife. Not everybody can be a CEO's wife. So don't try and make them. Don't get attached to somebody, or don't allow that type of person to pull you off that path, because they're not meant to be there with you. As a young man, or as a man on your path, or even if you're older and you're trying to you starting over and reestablish yourself, hey, have your little fun thing or whatever, but my advice would be not to make anything serious, because it's going to be unnecessary strife simply because their mind not there. That's not the woman of your path. Keep building, keep progressing, and you'll literally run into that woman, the kind of woman you want, the kind of woman who understands what it takes to be that kind of man's wife. And that's the issue, is that as you shoot for more, the women that you may allow to stretch yourself, They don't even understand what it means to be that kind of man, the kind of man you shooting for a wife. So there's no reason to waste time with them or on them, to take anything serious with them. Please don't have a baby with them. So find a purpose-driven wife. Purpose-driven wife, as in the woman who helps you, or I'd say that bad, the woman who is on the path of your purpose. If your purpose is ministry, get somebody who have the mind to be a pastor's wife. If your purpose is medicine, find somebody who has the mind to be a doctor's wife, lawyer's wife, CEO's wife, engineer's wife, whatever, politician's wife. Find a woman who has the mind that aligns with your purpose. And I promise you, all this stuff you hear about women, all this stuff, all the women bashing stuff you hear will fade away. Because guess what? You're not dealing with those vagabond women anyway. Because you read early on, you pick up early on, this isn't the kind of woman that fits my path. And if you do deal with them, you know it's a passing thing. So you're not too involved or too attached to whatever the up and downs that come with that. Find a purpose-driven wife, a woman who aligns with your purpose, and life will be much sweeter, and you won't hate women.